let's say Rafael Nadal, he won French Open Grand Slam 14 times. 14 times. The first time he came on the tennis court and picked up the tennis racket and hit the ball, his uncle was his coach. So the first time he came on the tennis court, was he a champion? No. He's an absolute beginner who doesn't know how to hit the ball. Doesn't know. That's one end. The other end is 14 Grand Slam winner. 14 times. French Open Grand Slam winner. So, he is a beginner who doesn't know how to hit the ball. He is 14 times French Open Grand Slam winner. Let me ask you, was there change? Let me ask you, was there change? Or was it just like, everything's okay? Was there change? Now, obviously, yes. And next, can change happen without the fire? The inner fire to change? Or does change happen like to someone? Do you love tennis? I do like tennis. I do like tennis. Will that person? Is there fire to change? No, it is a good sport. You meet lovely people. It is a good sport. Is there fire to change? No. and is fire to change like, okay, let's go get it. Let's go get it. Let's go get it, boys and girls. Let's go get it. Is that fire to change too? No. That's acting. That's acting. Because fire to change comes from within. Within. You know? Within. Like this. Okay. So the starting point for us is we have forgotten that we are all masters. We have forgotten. We have forgotten. We're all masters. What are we going to do? We're going to go around telling other people, I'm a master, I'm a master. That's not going to change, is it? We have forgotten. We're all masters. The funny thing is, a true master knows that. The true master knows that. The true master doesn't think, I'm higher than my disciples, I'm better than my disciples. No. The true master thinks, I am a servant of my disciples. Same way, I'm a servant to God. I'm a servant to God. So, God is the whole of creation. I'm a servant to the whole of creation. That's a true master. That's a true master. You know? Like this. Let's come back to the fire to change. The fire to change. We know, like, starting point, no or not, we are masters. We are the light of God. We are one with God. We are one with the divine. All power and glory is within us. You know? Yeah. Yep. That's why power in a person, like when a person remembers, when I remembered who I am. When I remembered who I am, that power comes with it. Comes with it. It's not through studying something. You know, it comes with it. Same as any other person who remembers, truly remembers. The power comes with it. The wisdom comes with it. You know. That's why, because the wisdom comes from within the remembrance of that. That's why I know every scripture, even though I haven't read most of the scriptures. But someone can study for 1,000 years on it, and when I read it, I'll know more about that than the person who's been studying one scripture for 1,000 years. Why is that? Because I can feel even the feeling of the author who wrote that 1,000 years ago. What they intended when they wrote those words. What was their feeling? What was their transmission? What was even the spirit of the words, I can feel it. What happened to anyone who remembers truly? I'm telling you, that's how it works. So, to move from not knowing to remembering again, forgetting who you are, and then remembering who you are, it's obvious that fire to change is needed. You don't become that by saying I am that, but you become that by understanding, self-honesty, the forgetfulness, of who you're forgetting who you are. And how you're living, how you're like the suffering to oneself and suffering caused to others, you see the result of forgetfulness of who you are. You see the result of it. And then from seeing that, one has to aspire, That's why sometimes they use the word spiritual aspirant. Spiritual aspirant. Because you aspire to remember who you are. Like this. So, no one is going to have that fire if they don't feel, I don't need to change. Well, if you're a master, if you remember who you are already, you remember that you're a master, you're the light of God. Once remembrance comes to you, then you don't need to change because you're already who you are. You already remember who you are. So we're going to change to. You remember that. You remember that. But when you haven't remembered that, then the fire to change is needed. I want to share something else. Nobody has ever remembered themselves. Nobody on this planet, nobody, without having that fire to change. Nobody. For example, when a person says they attain enlightenment, this and that, but if there's no fire in them, isn't that fire, the passion, the fire in them? No, they haven't attained enlightenment. No, they haven't. There's something in you that the fire. The guru, the master can't put the fire in you because that fire is already in you. I was sharing to my disciples at dinner last night. I said, the fireplace, by putting more wood in, more fuel in, does a fire increase when there's no fire in the first place? There's no little flame in the first place. Does a fire increase? If the master puts more wood in, more fuel in to the fireplace, but there's no inner fire in you, a little flame. You hide it somewhere else. Will that flame up into a big fire? It won't. It won't. But when you have that flame in you, the little flame, and the master starts putting more wood into you, and stir it up a bit, and it starts to fire up. Really, it starts to fire up. Who's gonna fire up if the goal to remember the greatness of your being is in you. The great master is in you. That's you, in you. Having faith that the master's words is true, has shared that, and striving sincerely for that, with that fire, the fire to change. When others ridicule you, when the whole evidence on the outside is contrary to that, faith. Faith and courage, to go towards what you actually don't know. The unknown. Nobody knows whether it's true or not until they get there. When you hear a master speak, you can only trust, but you only truly know when you actually get there. So therefore, it gives the meaning to faith. Faith is critical. It's critical. Like this, when that fire to change in a person, like not out of a weird idea of attention seeking, but out of a burning longing to be truly, like it's like fitting truly your spirit, who you are. Just truly you. Not impressing others, not all that. energy destroying activities, mental and all that. Why do I have so much energy? Because my energy is never dissipated in those nonsense. Never. It's never dissipated in that nonsense. You know, we destroy our power and our strength through all that fitting in, attention seeking, and proving, and this and that. It's all nonsense. You know? No one will have that fire unless they have an aspiration to be. To remember that no one. Honestly, the Guru can speak teaching about enlightenment and, you know, oneness with God, oneness with the divine, self-realization, our true self. They can speak until they're black and blue on the face. And, and people listen and go, oh, righto. Okay, righto. Oh yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that. Where's the fire? Where's the fire? Do you think Rafa Nadal won 14 French Open Grand Slam? With Boris Becker, he's won Wimbledon 5-6 times. He couldn't win one French Open Grand Slam. He couldn't win one. That's how hard it is to win the French Open. You know, like, do you think he didn't have the fire in him? You know, to be his potential. To be his potential. You know. There's a big difference between fanatical and love. Love. The love of the goal. And fanatical. There's a big difference. Fanatical is trying to do something what you believe is right. What is right. You know. And wanting everyone to do the same. You know. Wanting everyone to do the same. And then there's otherwise. Otherwise, this is going to happen. That's called fanatical. You know. Love of something is a choice. A choice. Yeah. Can a parent force their child, you know, to love and marry someone that they don't love? Well, in some culture, like they can force the child to marry someone. Yes, they can achieve that. But they can't force a child to love the other person. The marriage is there, but there's no love. Marriage is there. There's no love. Marriage doesn't imply love. And love doesn't imply marriage. Like this. So, you can see, you can see, instead of trying to find all the secrets to solving our problems, like, I got this problem, so what is the secret to fixing that problem? Instead of, I got that other problem, what's the secret to fixing that problem? So, like, a million different situations, million different problems, and you know it all, and you try to manage your life like that. That is not the approach. You know. The approach is like the love to change. And when that's there, then suddenly, everything you do towards that, becomes like deep and quality and tearful and gratefulness. When the Master teaches, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it, that I'm a nobody and I'm blessed by God to be in a situation where I can hear and receive the teachings of the Master like that. Oh my God. How lucky I am. Oh my God. Like, everything becomes quality. The gratitude. They say the attitude of gratitude. Well, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen suddenly. Like, otherwise, everyone will feel that. No, we don't. We don't have that gratitude with that every breath we take. Oh my God. And how's my body nourished? How come the body just breathes and take care, and if I accidentally have a little cut my finger, it just heals up. It just coagulates, the blood coagulates and closes up, and the skin heals up. Oh my God, like just eating a meal. Oh my God. Like, how does this meal come about? The truck driver has to deliver to the shop. The farmer has to water and grow. And look after the plant. Machineries and manual labour has to be done, and storage, and the heartache of worried sleepless nights, the worry that the storm's not going to come and destroy the crops just before harvest. All that pain and all that. You go to the supermarket. And the checkout works hard, and it's hard work, and doing the shift, 6-hour shift, and long 7-hour shift, and tired legs, sore feet, just hang in there. Another 2 hours will finish. Good day, scan. Work hard, sore feet. The trolley, a collector, and it's a car park, has to collect all the trolleys, push, and that's their part-time job or full-time job. They might be studying university, they help them pay the fees, like the textbooks. Oh, it's It's just your gratitude. Just eat a meal. The gratitude is there. So, and of course, everything else in life. Like, what I'm saying is, when that fire is there, we're going to be deep. It's just automatically we're going to be deep. When the fire is not there, and there's no aspiration, it's impossible to be deep. It's impossible to have that type of gratitude like that. It's actually impossible. There's no mental gymnastics or secrets to success, secrets to this. It's going to do anything. I'm telling you. That's how it works. That's how it works. You know. When the guru sees a disciple, I'm not saying any true guru looks at the disciple and one look at the disciple, and they can see that this person has potential to attain enlightenment in this lifetime or not. Just one look. One look. You know. And what is the master looking at? Looking at what are they looking at? Or a coach is looking at a tennis player, young tennis player, say a 6, 7, 8-year-old tennis player, and seeing, can this person become a 14-time French Open Grand Slam winner? What are they looking at? You know? I mean, there's talents everywhere. There's athletic skills in many. But what are they looking at? They're looking at the fire to change. The fire to change. When you have that fire, you will endure. You will endure. You will endure. You know? For example, you're feeding your children, you know, from your work. Let's say a person has 8 children, like my father. My father actually has 9 children. 9 children. You know, he's working hard. Let's say he's working hypothetically. He's a fisherman, so he works for himself. But let's say he works for someone hypothetically. You know? And he works hard. And then the boss treats him bad. You know? Bad. Rude and bossy and all that. But when you love your children, you got to pay the mortgage and this and that. You want them to have good schooling. And well-being. Support. You will endure. The boss is rude, you're not going to say, get lost and walk out. You will endure. Like this. Because you have a goal. You want your children to grow up that has all the potential and the well-being and the chance to live a good life. Because the love of that, that's your goal for your children. So there's a fire in you. Therefore, you can handle that. When I say fire, I'm not talking about anger. You know, actually, it's opposite. People angry, there's no fire to change. It's more like, everything's everything's okay, and then, let's say you parent your children, they keep on behaving like mucking up, and there's no respects and all that, and you keep on like, oh, I don't want to confront them. Like, oh, they'll be fine. Oh, see what happens. Leave it. They'll sort it out. They grow up, they grow out of it. And then there's too much. The children just keep on doing too much. That's their job. It's their job. God sends them to train the parents. And then the parent just goes, "Stop it! I've had enough of you. Stop that behavior." Oh my God, traumatize the child. See, there's like stagnation, and then lose control, anger. That's not the fire I'm talking about. That's not the fire. That's not the fire. The fire to change is not explosive. It's from within. It's deep from within. So endurance. You will endure the hardship towards the goal. When that fire is there, we will not be weak. We will not be weak. We will not be weak. When the fire is there, immediately there's something different about you. Immediately there's something. Everybody loves that. Everybody loves that. Love that. Like, when that fire is there, your mind, your mind, your thoughts, this, that, thing, and that, it's like erratic. It's just like, here, there, like worry this, worry that, can't control the mind, can't sleep and all that, thinking this, thinking that. When the fire is there, it will shatter the mind. The fire. The mind is like a big troublemaker. Do you think of your energy is like, come on, can you please stop it? Can you please go away? Do you think the big troublemaker is going to do something? Is going to stop it? Like, can you stop? Can you please stop it? Can you please go away? No. People talk about, what's my purpose in life? What's my purpose in life? What's my purpose in life? That's the purpose in life. To realize, to remember that you're a master. That you're a master of this whole universe. Not master of this planet, the master of this whole universe. To remember that. That's your purpose. That's our purpose. Our purpose is not to win 14 Grand Slams. Right now, Rafa Nadal's retired. He's actually trying to work out his purpose in life, actually. He realized that tennis is actually not his purpose in life. He thought it was his purpose, but once he retired, you realize it's actually not. Like this. So, what I'm saying, we must love change. sometimes when people don't want to change on the path, one of the quickest way that a person don't want to change and move to the fire to change, they don't want to go there. One of the quickest way to do it is say, I am already there. Who understands what I'm saying? Who believes what I'm saying? Put your hand up. Isn't that the quickest way? Isn't that the quickest way to not have that fire? To change. Like, I've already won 14 French Open Grand Slam. So, I've already won. I'm already there. I'm already there. So, be careful, with being robbed by our mind. Be careful. It's going to have a million different ways to rob us from that fire. The fire, the endurance, That's why when you move forward when you have that fire, you move forward towards the goal. That fire is going to lead you towards the goal, the fire to change. And the evidence is going to show. In a tennis player, they're going to start to win satellite tournaments. And they're going to start to win smaller tournaments. Like, for example, the Sydney, they call it Sydney International Tournament. That's the only tournament I've ever watched in tennis. So, So they win that one. They don't win a Grand Slam yet, but they win that one. They win smaller tournaments and they see evidence on the way. So on the spiritual path towards the remembrance that we are all masters, that remembrance of that. Along the way, you start to see evidence of that. You start to see, similarly to the tennis, instead of winning, smaller tournaments, you start to see, you become more interested in life, in other human beings, in their feelings, in their pain, in their sorrows. You become a better listener to their feelings. You have less of your me, my agenda, me, this, that, like my this, my that. Less of that and more like looking out and seeing the world, seeing God's creation, seeing other people's problems, not your own problem, but other people's problems. And feeling love and compassion for what people go through, In short, you become more sweet. You know how I was in the UK in the supermarket, and people calling, like you queuing up, and they say, "Come, move forward," and the checkout person, they go, "Like, darling, come forward, darling." They're calling me darling. They're calling everyone darling, not just me. Well, you're going to be a true darling. Not just the words, you're going to be a true darling. You be sweet. Be sweet. Like, you have a compassionate heart. You'll be more introverted. Not like extrovert means attention seeking. That's what extrovert means. Introverted means you're more you're more like you're concerned with how you feel, the feelings, and the pain and feelings of others and the joy of others. You're concerned more the inner, true living, not the image, like that. But in short, you become more loving and sweet, like this. So that means you're going forward. And that fire in you, like, you don't think, oh, I'm getting there, like this. You don't think, you just think, you don't think about that. You just think, it just feels, I love life and it feels good. I can't imagine me living any other way. It's just feels peaceful and it feels really good. In me, it feels really good. And then, you're going towards remembering, who you are. When you're struggling in life, this and that, that's still good. That struggling is designed by God to help clean us up. Or another way to say is it's called God is giving us reality checks. Like this. Like God is saying, you're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. I love a little book called God Calling, where Jesus was speaking to these two anonymous ladies, and then they wrote it down, was whispering. It's like whispering their ears, pretty much. Not appeared in a physical person. I don't imagine that, but Jesus whispered into their ears too. Who knows? He might have appeared. Who knows? So I can't say that 100%. I wasn't there. But the stuff what they wrote down was amazing. Absolutely, that's actually, even to today, that's actually one of my favorite book. Actually, that is one of my most cherished book. Honestly. And Jesus would speak to them, and Jesus would say, like, what? Why do you make it? Why you tire yourself out like that? Like, why isn't it better to just let go and surrender that, and let the one that can handle that? Why do you go through yourself for like that? And then when you're sincere, and then you're struggling, because I was going my path, spiritual path, so I had struggles too. And when I read that, honestly, I just burst out in tears. Because I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? Why am I solving myself? What am I doing? Oh my God, the heart just gets comforted. And can I just let go? Like that. So I really love that book. But coming back. I want to end the talk. I can keep on going. But I want to end the talk by saying that we've got to love that. Do not be a person on the spiritual path that feels like, I don't need to change. Do not be that person. Because that is not a seeker. You're either a master already, or you love to change. You know? Like this. You love to change. Because that fire to change gets you there. Gets you there. Gets you to the remembrance. And then you'll know the words of every true master in the history of this planet. You'll know. You'll know their heart. You'll know their feelings. When you get there, you'll know the sacrifice of their life, what they've done, all of them, for us. And you just love them. You just like, oh my God, all the masters. Oh my God, I love them. I love them. Like Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, like, you know. So all the masters have passed away, and the masters as alive. You know. Like the masters sacrificed their life. Like, you know, you just love them all. It's just like, you know, you love them. That's how you know you reach there. You don't reach there and think, oh my God, I've got a lot of competition. There's a lot of them. How am I going to get them? People just come to my retreat. There's a lot of them. Oh, not liking it. Not liking it. Know that you're going the wrong way. Turn around and start from scratch and start having aspiration and fire up the inner Bunsen burner inside you. You know? Like that. Last thing I want to say is, when you have the aspiration, that fire, to change is in you, or comes in you. It's always in you, but it comes up in you, it becomes alive. You know? Like, no goal in this whole universe can't be achieved. No goal. You know? Because that fire. It's that fire. You know? And the aspiration, I'm telling you, the fire. Love to change. Love to change. You know? Okay, that ends my talk.